So, all right, let us start the lecture 11 of the machine learning course. In this session, we are going to talk about the hidden Markov model. So, what essentially the idea is that you know that
So
in
your
your
voice
general
is
data
not
collection
audible.
scenario, there is some event is happening. For example, when you want to collect some data, because later you want to apply the machine learning on that, some event is happening, and you do some observation of that event, and whatever the you are going to get there, you are going to put into your database. This is what the general scenario is. But there is a understanding sometime that what is happening here we were thinking that whatever the things is happening, we are actually aware of this. But there is also a underlying assumption sometime that what is happening we don't know. So what we are observing actually is some manifestation of that whatever been happened. So something was happening, but we were not able to see that, we are seeing something else. Let me give you an example. For example, what happens if there is some student, he is happy. So whether he is happy or not, can you understand from outside? Very difficult. You can see that if he is happy, then he is smiling. Okay, he is talking enthusiastically with the people. He is going to the movie. He is playing sports. So these are the extra things that we are going to observe. What is the actual state? We don't know whether he is happy or not. Understand? So what I wanted to tell you that there is a the notion that says that actually I am observing everything. What is underlined may not be right thing. So we think we actual thing is this, that the actual phenomena that is happening over there is actually hidden. So how can we apply the machine learning? By having this understanding that actually we are not able to access the actual underlying phenomena, we are going to see in this particular class. So to understand the hidden Markov model, first let us understand the Markov model first. Let us first see that what is the Markov model. A very simple understanding. So here the assumption is that you know that there is, let's assume that there is something, and you apply some phenomena on that. For example, some sigma. There is some phenomena that you have applied, and by applying this phenomena, something happened. Then you again apply the same phenomena. Something happened. Something you get something next. Let me give an example. Let's assume that this is the xy space, coordinate space, and here is a ball. Okay, here is a ball. Okay, and what is going to happen? That ball is going to rotate. Ball is going to rotate for say 2 degree in 1 minute, and it is going to go into some direction. Make sense? So it is a kind of animation. So you know that if you there is a settled matrix, you know that cos theta minus sine theta cos theta. There is settled matrix. If you use this matrix to multiply over here, the next coordinate, what are the new coordinate of these items would be, you would be able to find out that. So let's assume that that matrix is with us, and to translation also there is a matrix, another matrix. You multiply these two matrix and get another matrix, say A, and then what you do, that you use this matrix and you multiply this particular place. What would happen? What would happen? That the because you have constructed the matrix in such a way so that this ball is going to be shown over here. Okay, after 1 minute, what is the new location you are going to see? Then you again apply the same thing over here. Okay, you again multiply with the A. What would happen? The ball would move somewhere else. Again, you multiply with the A, ball would move somewhere else. So, underlying thing is this: that there is some operation, there is something that you are going to do, and this is you are going to apply into your system, and your system is changing its state. This are you able to understand? So this in this setting where you are thinking that a same kind of operation is being applied on the thing. So what we think that initially, let's assume that your state was x0. You applied a matrix and you reach to the state of x1. Then you apply the same thing, same operation, and you are going to change the states. And at the after applying n time, you are into this particular state. So is it whether this part is clear? That some phenomena, the single phenomena is going to happen multiple number of time, and at the end you are going to reach and you are going to find out this particular state. So Markov model actually says Markov model actually says that in this setting, try to understand, okay, focus on this. Markov model says that in this setting, if this particular thing is given to you, you need not to specify what was specified earlier. Means if you specify the current state, if you specify the current state, it is enough. You need not to specify anything more out of that, along out of that. So this only specifying single thing is going to be sufficient. All the complete history need not to be shown to you. So it's a very interesting idea, no? It's a very interesting idea because we, in our universe, for example, we have Earth, and we want to understand that what about the Earth. You need not to understand that from very beginning how the Earth evolved and how you reach to this particular point. Similar idea it is like that, that you are going to understand that what is going to happen right now. If you just tell me that, it is sufficient. So the idea is that the future is independent of the past given the present. Given the present, if you just specify that what is the current state, you need not to specify the previous thing. If I want to find out what is going to happen next, I would apply the same thing and get the next output. Make sense? Make sense? That I was telling that from x0, I applied A, I got x1. Then I applied again A, I got something. Multiple number of time I applied A, I got xn. So if you want to find out what is the next state, you need only this particular state. The previous state is known. If this final state is known to you, then you can find out what is going to happen into the next state by applying the same operation. So this is the Markov model. This is the Markov model. That this assumption that the future is independent of the past given the present. If you give the present, then everything is there. And here the assumption is that the present encodes all the history. So whatever been there into the history, it is being encoded over here. This is my assumption is. So sometime just I told you that multiple things were there, and final state is shown to you, and that is sufficient because it encodes everything. But sometimes people say that only single thing. This is another setting into the Markov model that says that only final state is not sufficient. You sometimes need something more. So maybe two more, not all. For example, if you want to find out that what is going to happen next, sometimes maybe two values are important. Okay, if these two values are provided, then you can find out. So if we go into this setting of the Markov model, then we bring another term that is called the order. Okay, if order is 3 means what? You need last 3 data, means first the current data, 2 more data. 3 things are needed to decide that what is going to happen next. Into the general setting, with what we think that only one item is sufficient. If you give one item, I can find out that what is the next item. When the order is 3 means what? 3 items are needed to determine that what is the next item. However, till now we have very general setting. We have just talked about that only one item is sufficient to describe what, and we would stick to that. Just for the sake of completeness, I told this particular point. Here IID don't work. What is IID? Independent and identically distributed items. Because what is going to happen, as I told you, that the first item, second item, third item, whichever are the items, whichever the states are changing, they are not identical. They are not identically distributed. Means you cannot say that these are the multiple things, and we are going to have those. We are having some sampling, and then we are going to observe the data. All the data, because what is the data? Data is this, that you are going to have this item, the second item, third item, you are going to put one by one these items into your database. So there is a relationship, you know that, because the things are changing one by one. There is a relationship. You cannot tell that these things are independent and identically distribution. They are not independent, they are dependent, because you are going to apply a particular operation over there. So this is, all these things are operation, our assumptions and needed for the operations. So any questions, please let me know. So you can apply the Markov model for the very specific kind of problem where there is a notion of a time, such as, and sequence, such as into the temporal data means time, weather prediction. You want to tell that what is going to happen tomorrow, speech recognition. One word when I'm telling that, next word is going to be related to that, whatever I'm going to say. Automatic music generation, handwriting recognition, and some of the many such applications. You can apply this thing into many such applications. Let us see an example so that things becomes much clearer to you. So the example is this. Let's assume, suppose a company is selling a product A, and product A could be, for example, a soap. Okay, there is a particular brand of the soap. Company is selling that particular soap. Let's assume Lux. Okay, there is a soap called Lux. So let's assume that A is a product. What is this? Lux. Let's assume that it has a very less market share, 20% of the market share it has. What does it mean? That people are buying A, 20% of the people are buying A, and rest 80% are buying something else that is not A. They are also buying soap, but it is not A. So let's assume that it has a market share of 20%, and the company launches a advertisement campaign, and it is expected that to retain 90% of the customer. Means what? That all the 90% of the peoples are going to retain with the company. Means these 20% people who are purchasing this, they are going to retain with the company, but it is going to attract 70% of the new people. What does it mean? That the people which are actually here, 70% of the people are going to, new people are going to come to me. Okay. So here also you can think that when 90% people are actually retained, 90% of people are retained by this A, means what? The 10% people would go here, 10% people would start, instead of Lux, they would buy other soap. And when 70% of the peoples are actually going to, from the people who are purchasing different soap, they are going to purchase this particular item. So means what? The 30% peoples are actually still, they are going to use the same. 30% peoples are going to use the same thing. Okay. So the question is that what maximum market share the product A can get. Okay, how much we are going to have the advantage. So this is the transition diagram that we have just talked about. That for this particular item, for this particular product, 90% people are going to use the same thing. 10% are, however, going to change. But for the item which is not this, 30% are only going to remain here, but 70% would start purchasing the item A because there is a ad campaign. So initial state is 20% and 80%. We know that the 20% this particular item has only 20% of the market share. 80% are people purchasing something else. What is the transaction matrix? Transition matrix means how the transition is going to happen. You can see 0.9 and 0.1. This is what the how the change in first one. Now 0.9 and 0.1. Similarly 0.7 and 0.3. Okay, they are going for 1 and product A and A dash. Okay, how the things are going to impact. So initial state is this. To find out what will happen after one iteration, I would multiply this with the A. Makes sense? When I multiply this, so you can find out that what is 0.2, 0.8, you multiply this with the 0.9, 0.1, 0.7, 0.3. If you multiply this thing, you are going to get this particular number. Similarly, if you multiply here and here, you are going to get 0.26. Interesting. What is going to happen? What has happened? That initially the share was 20%, but now it has changed to, from 22 it becomes 74. So this ad campaign is very important. It gave you 74% of the all the market share. Very effective campaign. What would happen that since you find out very effective, you can think that I would again apply the same thing on the S1. If you apply the A, what would happen? So again, these values are multiplied with the A. This is a new thing that you are going to get. You get 0.84%, means you can see that value has increased. You apply the same once again, 0.869, 0.134, means what? From 20%, you gone to 74%, then therefore 85%, then 86, 87%. So your market share is increasing. Okay. So how many of you think that if I apply this infinite number of time, I would reach to the 100%? Okay, but you can see that actually this particular growth is actually not that much. Initially the growth was very high, but the growth is going to reduce. But here the I think the jump was more than 54%, but here the jump was not that much, and here you can see that only jump is 2%. So after some time the jump is not that much, because other people which to whom you want to drag in, they are not available. Okay, one idea is this. So, how many of you think that ultimately we can get all the market share? Yes? Say yes or no. Do you think that you can get 100% market share? Can anybody say yes? No, sir, we cannot get. Naman is telling that we cannot get. You are perfectly right, Naman. So, what may happen? That let's assume that we cannot get. Then what would happen? That if you put two values a b and you multiply with the a, you are again going to get the ab. Okay, so you would be stuck after some time. The values are not going to change. You are going to be stuck after some time. Okay, so this kind of matrix is called the stationary matrix. This matrix is called the stationary matrix when you are actually stuck. Okay, so in our example, let us see that our values are, let's assume, I don't know that what is the value going to be when I'm going to stuck. Let's assume at that percent, at that place, the values are a and b. My A matrix is 0.9, that we have just seen, that 0.9, 0.1, 0.7 and 0.1. So this is what our matrix is. Then at the end when I multiply, then I get the same value. So can you help me solving this particular equation? So what may happen that I think I can write into this way, that I can say that A multiplied by 0.9, 0.9A plus 0.7B is equal to A. This is the first equation. The second equation going to be 0.1A plus 0.3B is equal to B. Second equation, let me use the first equation. It gives you 9A plus 7B is equal to A. Or we can say that, am I right? Okay. Can I say that 8A plus 7B, am I right, is equal to 0? Or I can say that B is equal to minus 8 pi 7A. Can I write like this? Sir, 10A. Okay, there is some problem. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So here it should be 10A. Yeah. That's right, 10A. So I'm very sorry for that. Thank you. Okay. So what would happen? That it is going to be the 7A. 7A is equal to A. So I say that B is equal to 1 upon 7A. Now I'm right? Naman, am I right? Still there is a problem? Yeah. And we know that these are the probabilities. So we know that A plus B is equal to 1. So A plus, what is the B? B is equal to 1 upon 7A. So A plus 1 upon 7A is equal to 1. So what is the value of, I think I'm right, then it is 8A is equal to 7. Then A is equal to 7 by 8. Okay, then I can find out what is the value of B. B is equal to 1 by 8. What is this? B is equal to 1 by 8. So in this way, we can find out that after doing multiple iterations, what would happen, that A would reach to the value 7 by 8 and B would reach to the value that is 1 by 8. And then after that, the things are not going to change. They are remaining through this particular way. Any questions on this? Any questions on this? No? So we have discovered that B A is equal to 0.875, B is equal to 0.125, and after that the things are not going to change. Question is, does it always happen for all the settings? Does it going to happen? The answer is no. Only for the matrices, if the matrix is regular. Which matrix? This A matrix is regular. If this matrix is regular, then only this phenomena is going to happen. And what do I mean by the regular? Regular means what? That the sum power of the matrix has all the positive values. Sum power becomes all the positive value. So can you tell me that whether this particular matrix is regular? The answer is yes, because if this is a, then a to the power 1 is a sum power, and it is all the values are actually non-zero, okay, are positive, non-zero positive, and all the values are positive. Let us talk about the second one. Is it also regular? Okay, can anybody find out and tell me? Can you give me some power? If a is equal to 0, 1, 1, 0, what is a square? A square is, I think, a square is 1, 0, 0, 1. Am I right? What is a cube? A cube is again a. So you would keep oscillating between a and a square. So it is no. The answer is no. Am I right? Naman? Yes? Okay. So can you tell me about this matrix? Whether this matrix is a regular or not? Okay. So again, the A matrix I write like this: 0, 0.2, 0.8, 1, and 0. And let's find out that what is the value of A square. So find out value of A square: 0.2, 0.1, 0.8, and 0. These values are there. Okay. I want to find out that what is the value going to be. 4 values I need to find out. Can you tell me that what is the first value? First, second, third, fourth. What is the first value, second value, third value, fourth value? Can anybody tell whether all these values are positive? The first value is what? The first value is 0.84. I'm just writing whatever you are doing. What is the second value? What is the second value? Hmm? 0.16. 0.16. What is the third value? 0.2. What is the third value? Fourth value? 0.8. You see that a square, in the a square, all the values are positive. So this matrix is regular. So same kind of phenomena would also happen with this matrix. So this is about the Markov model, and now we want to understand that what is hidden Markov model. So hidden Markov model, I just explained you a few minutes back that you start by some state, and then you apply some operation, you go to the next state, you apply something, go to the next state, and you keep doing this until t minus 1 time, or t times. For example, if from 0 you start, so first time, second time, third time, to nth time you applied. So t n minus 1 you get, x t minus 1. Now, what I was telling you, that if you want to find out that what is this particular state, you cannot find out this state. My assumption was this, that it is the actual states are actually hidden. My assumption was this, that your actual states are actually hidden. So what would you observe? You do something to find out that what is going to happening underlying. So you would be getting an observation. An observation is actually dependent upon x0. So let's assume that there is another matrix B, that is when multiplied with this x0, that gives you this observation. So observation you can assume, you can obtain when you multiply this x0 with the B. So actual values are not given to you, but you are going to have some observation, this O. So into this particular state, when the item was into the x1 state, again you are going to have some observation. Let me call it observation 1. And it is again multiplication with the of the B with the x1. So our observation, so in your database, what is going to happen? You are going to have these values, not these values. Earlier you were having these values in your database. These values were shown to you, but now in your database for the learning, these values are shown to you. Okay, so let me give you an example. Assume we observe a news coverage of some of the article. For example, let's assume that there is some hilly area. In this area there is some village, and you want to understand that what was the whether that particular on some day it was a hot day or a cold day. Let's assume that in this particular village there is some newspaper, newspaper that talks about various topics, and one of the topic is ice cream. One of topic is the ice cream. So you assume that when it is a hot day, people would be talking more about the ice cream. When it is a cold day, then people would be talking less about the ice creams. So let's assume that the coverage is small, medium, or large. If the coverage is small, if the coverage is small means what? People are talking less about the ice cream. Means looks like that it is a cold day. Looks like it is a cold day. When the coverage is large, means what? People are a lot more talking about the ice cream. Looks like it is a hot day. Okay. So we can think some this that's a random example where I have put those things into the perspective. Let's assume that the B matrix where actually that gives you that what is the observation that we are going to have is this, that for the hard day probability of large coverage is 0.5, probability of small coverage is 0.1, probability of medium coverage is 0.4. For the cold day, probability of large coverage is 0.1, small coverage is 0.7, and median coverage is 0.2. You can please note that all these values you can find out because you have historically available data that what was whether the day was hot or cold for the last, for example, last 100 years you know that, or 50 years you know that whether the day was hot or cold, and the publication of that paper is also available to you. So for those days, you find out that how much it was covered, and then you can discover this probability. That is not a very difficult thing. As a make sense that you can find out these values. Okay, and there is also some underlying phenomena. You know that the things are not random because if it is a cold day, the next day is going to be cold. It is not going to be like that. That it is randomly not going to happen. There is some effect that is going to be carried out. Let's assume that when a day is hot, next day is going to also be the hot is 0.7. The probability is 0.7. If a hot day, next day is going to be cold is 0.3. On the cold day, the probability that next day is hot is 0.4 and cold is 0.6. So let's assume that there all these probabilities you know. This also you can find out because historical data is available to you. Then you can apply and you can find out what is these probabilities. Sir, what is x in our example? Okay. What is this x you are talking about? What is this x in our talking about? Yeah, this is some state. We are talking about some states. So right now in our example, it is hot and cold. In our example, it is hot and cold. But and what is the observation? The coverage into the newspaper. It is the value of O could be small, medium, and large, and values of X could be C and H, cold and hot. For example, in this particular case. But into the general setting, you can think that in the different problem, it could be different. Make sense? Naman, is it clear? Okay, good. Thank you. So let us assume that someday, there was someday, okay, you somehow you don't know that what was the probability of someday. Let's assume that this is all the days on the x-axis. Someday you, in the historical perspective, you thought that the probability of the that day being hot was 0.6. You are also not sure that what was whether that particular day was hot or cold. There is a probability you are thinking that looks like that based on something looks like that that particular day is 0.6. The probability of that particular day is 0.6. You are not sure about that, and you have observed that what was the coverage on that day. It was a small coverage. In the next day, it was a medium coverage. Next day, it was a small coverage. Next day, it was a large coverage. Able to understand? That probability that it was a hot day is 0.6. And you have observed that the newspaper was covering a small, medium, small, and large. So what is the probability that this day was actually hot, then next day was hot, next day was cold, and next day was cold? What is the probability of this thing? I don't know. Let's assume that there is some probability. So similarly, I can find out what is the probability of cold, hot, cold, hot. Similarly, I can find out what is the probability of cold, cold, hot, hot. All these probability I can find out. Okay. And then whatever value maximizes, I can tell that looks like that. This is the most feasible setting that I have. Make sense? Make sense? Because you have this observation and you want to find out that what was happening underlying. Okay, and this was not available to you, but you want to infer about that. Make sense? Any questions on that? So we want to find out that what is the probability of this particular thing. Multiple settings are there. I would find out for all of them, and I can report the what is the maximum one. So does it make sense? Miloni, Anushka, Shashwat? Yes? Okay. So let us discuss that how can you find out what is the probability of HSCC? So it is a very simple thing. First day should be hot. What is the probability of day being hot? 0.6. And on that day, the coverage was small. The probability that on the hot day coverage is small is 0.1. Make sense? Then next day you want to be hot. What is the probability that the after hot day, next day is also hot? 0.7. 0.7. On that day, coverage is medium. Probability that on the hot day, coverage is medium is 0.4. 0.4. Then the next day comes. After hot day, you need a cold day. After hot day, you need a cold day. That is 0.3. On that day, you want the small coverage. Cold day, small coverage, 0.7 is 0.7. Then from cold day, next day is also cold day. Cold day to cold day, 0.6. 0.6. Probability that on the cold day, you have large coverage is 0.1. 0.1. So whether this value was clear to everybody? On the day, you are actually having four things that what is the probability of that day? 1 minute. Probability of 0.6, then 0.7, 0.3, 0.6. And then you attach that what is the probability of that particular observation, that you have a small, medium, small, large. What the probability of that particular observation. All these multiplication gives you a value. Similarly, you can solve for all the values as I talked to you. HHH, HHC, all these values. How many values are there? You know that 2 to the power 4 such values are there. For all these values, you are going to find out this probability value. But actually, you know that the summation of the probability should be 1. And we have the way in which we have computed the value may not be the 1. So you have to do the normalization also. Normalization means what? That you find out the summation of all these quantity. And then you divide by that. This summation is divided by this. So what would happen? That this value would change 0.000412 becomes 0.042. And then after that, if you find out the summation, it becomes 1. This summation becomes 1. All right. So because various V1, V2, V3, Vk values were there, every value is divided by the summation. So ultimately, this is going to be the summation only. Then therefore, the summation divided, then the summation of this new quantity is going to be 1. So I should not go into that much detail. So this part, hope it is clear to you. Yes. Any questions? Yes. So this part is clear to you. Then we can tell that you have. I told you that you find out all the possibilities, and you have actually find out all these possibilities. What is HHH, HSC? All these values you have find out. So then you have to find out what is the most probable day. Can you tell me? So you find out that which value is the largest in this particular set. Which value is the actually largest, and the largest is 0.29. So what is the most expected configuration? It is the first day was cold, next day was cold, then next day was cold, and next day was hot. Okay, cold, cold, hot, hot. Okay, however, on the first day you are thinking that it was a hot. You had a higher probability, 0.6. Can you see this? You are thinking that the first day was going to be hot. You are somehow find out that the probability is 0.6. But when you compute it for all the values, you come up that no, looks like that the first day is cold, then cold, because observations are true. Okay, observations are true. So based on the observations, you are thinking that this is the best setting. Any questions on that? So this is a dynamic programming way where you actually have computed all the values. This is a dynamic programming way where you have computed for all the values and you have reported me the answer. Hidden Markov model says that why not you focus on a single value? For example, what was only happened on that particular day. If you only consider that what happened on that particular day. Okay. What do I mean by this? That if I want to concentrate on the first day when it was hot, these values are there. So what is the summation of all these values? What is the summation of all these values? Probability that this day is going to be C cold is this. So can I find out what is the value, this value? So let me say that this is A value, this is the B value. I can say that I can find out what is the value of A, what is the value of B with respect to the hot and with respect to the cold. So if this value is larger, then I can say that this was, if this value is larger, then I can say that it was a hot day. If this value is larger, then I can say that it was a cold day. I can say like that. So you can think that we have to find out the summation of all these quantity individually. Make sense? Okay. If you make sense. So if you understand this, then what was happening onto the next day? Second day, the probability of head is here, probability of head is here. So you find out the summation of these terms, summation of these terms, and summation of these terms. And then you find out the total. And this is what the, let's say that the value is C. And these values, when you find out the summation of these two values, you say that these values are D. So C and D. Okay. Now into the same setting. On the second day, if this value is larger, you say that it was second day was hot. If this value is larger, then you say that second day was cold. Fine. Okay. Let us concentrate onto the third day. The third day is here. This, this. So I want to find out the summation of these values, these values, these values, and these values. Summation of these four values, let me say that E. And the summation of these, these, and these, and these is I'm going to call it F. I see that value E and F. I can find out value E and F. And if E is larger, I say that the day was hot. If F is larger, I say the value was C. Any questions on that? Yes or no? No questions? Should we continue? Yes? Okay. So, so the final day, what was the last day? So head, because you know, sir, you know that every day is changing. So I have to find out summation of this value, 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 this value. Sorry. Let me say that this value is G. So, and the summation of the remaining term is H. So I can write G and H, and into the same setting, I can say if the G is larger, I say that hot. If H is larger, then I say that it is C. Okay. So, so this is what the computation is. So you may have also done by yourself that on the first day, the value of A is this, B is this, C is this, D is this, E is F, E, F, and G, H. Whatever we have talked about, these values are here. So whether this value is larger or this, you can see that 0.81 is larger. So the first day is going to be C. First day is going to be the C. For the next day, 0.51, 0.48, which is the maximum value. You say that this is the maximum value. So you say that next day is going to be hot. What is the third day? For the third day, 0.22, 0.77. So the maximum value is C. So you say that that day was C, cold. What is the next day? This is 0.80, 0.19. And you say that larger value is hot. So you say that that day is going to be the hot. This is what you get from hidden Markov model. So the hidden Markov model says that on that day, this is what the configuration is. CH. However, dynamic programming gives you the CCCH, and the hidden Markov models give you CH. Any questions on that? So the optimal state sequence in hidden Markov model is CH. So that's all for today.